Wow.
Yeah, not that difficult.
Can you believe that? Grow up.
Right. Imagine that. Simple.
Yeah, just that's simple to get it out there like that. But it's not rocket science.
No.
It's just the meaning of life and the responsibility that goes with the positions. And so it's really kind of saddening.
If your mother can do it, losing her mother at the age of 6, and with 13 children losing 4 of the kids, but 13, you still got 9.
There are nine siblings.
If St. Rita can rise to the occasion of being a person, a solid lady, and a good-hearted person, good mother, and to speak so highly and loving towards her mother, listen, we can do it. If she can do it, the question is whether or not, we want to apply, and suffer with it, and get up and go to work on it. And if we don't, then we just become lazy, sort of drifting.
Well, ne'er-do-wells, we haven't really, pushed ourselves to the capacity. With the gifts that we've been given, we need to be using them. This is why I say you got to do something. You got to make things.
Right.
Let God inspire you to make things. God builds, the devil destroys.
Right.
Stop tearing stuff down. Let's build things up.
Right.
Let's make something.
Yeah.
Do something positive. Be a force.
And this is why it's so disturbing at an institutional level of a parish in Cincinnati that behaves like this. That's destructive. That's tearing things down. That's wanting to mute a father that wants to correct the situation, ask more questions. It's appalling, and it won't stand, and they will not stand.
Well, this father was obviously. He's definitely. He's a football player, so he's a tough guy.
Yeah, he's not going to monkey around.
He's not going to take a beat down and not stand back up.
Right.
Okay, so, and I don't think the church does well with that type of thinking.
No.
To push back, because it goes against their method of operation, which is comply,
Control.
and submit.
Yep.
Which there's an element to that, but when they take it to the furthest level, which starts to cause a decay or a softening of the foundations. Reflective on these things, and they say there's nothing to see here. It's back to the things that Fulton Sheen was saying. We have to challenge our priests, bishops, and cardinals and pope on these things, because they won't do it themselves. They'll come off with this virtue play and say, well, we have the Lord. You just see that? That's the Eucharist.
Keep your mouth shut.
Keep your mouth shut, or we're going to keep that away from you.
Yeah, we're sending little Father Johnny boy off to, he's got to go anyway, so we're going to go.
Well, he should go someplace that's outside of this scope. I mean, they played,
He should go.
Well, they
jail.
They played the old pee under the cup,
Oh, yeah.
Whatever what they call it again, with the pee in
the pee in the, right. Where's the pee?
Moving it all around.
How many fingers behind my back?
Well, there's that too. But, they played this, hide the pee game so much. They used to do it all the time with troubled priests. They just moved to a different parish, and no one knew because no one was talking to each other.
I think you're right about that.
And now this thing here is
bypassing
is the problem for a lot of these guys, is that the stories get out and they can't contain it, and it becomes then a politics of dancing kind of story, and then whose story are you going to listen to, and then it just comes down to one problem begets another one.
Yeah, no, that's horrific, and it's got to be corrected, and our Lord's going to correct it. He'll allow us to play, to be a part of the correction, and some will rise to the occasion, and some will continue to, go into darkness. It's just it's simple as that. And our Lord said, "I don't have to sift. You've already sifted yourself. You've already declared yourself. And if you want to go along with the power and you want to be a corporate guy." Told a story about Father Shire. He wasn't a bad guy. He says, I just had a nose for the money. I went for the money. And our Lord said, you went for the money, you weren't a priest for me, you're condemned to hell. And if it wasn't for the Blessed Mother, begging for the guy, and even Father Shire says, I don't even know if I still condemned to hell, because our Lord said he was going to give me to his mother, but if I risen to the occasion, maybe I'm still the same, slug I was before. So he's not sure. But the point is,
he'll find out.
We need to follow St. Rita in very simple things, she said. Grow up. We take a break?
Don't you call them all chicken shits?
Did she?
Yeah.
God love her.
I asked her what she thought about the rest of the people in the parish. She said they're chicken shits.
Yeah.
So
that's a good farm term.
Well, she knew enough about she knew all forms of shit. She knew chicken shit, cow shit, bullshit.
Oh yeah.
She knows her shit. So but anyway, well, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Well, we're back, and we're going to continue our discussion here on the clampdown that's been reported down in Cincinnati. But I also know that this is not a new phenomenon. This has been going on for many, many, many years as far as procedural behaviors and sort of like the blending together of church and government type activities. We were talking about how there's been sort of this incestuous relationship that's developed between the handling of people in the church and the government, things like that, how to deal with the people who disagree with a policy or an agenda and things of this nature, or an outcome of something. Many times, lately everything is take to the streets. There's been this crazy push through especially through the university types on our student populations, telling them and making them all feel guilty about the sins of their forefathers, 300 years ago, that how people of today are responsible and should be feeling this guilt for what happened back in the 1700s to certain things. There should be an awareness, but as far as a guilt that casts on to somebody who was never born in that time, it's a little bit fictitious at best. But what has happened is these university types have impressed upon the kids, the students, so much that they're responsible for these things, and they're guilty. And so what the kids want to do with this is they need to shed this. They don't have a confessional type of thing they can go to, and they don't have any other outlet. So what they will do is they will try to project their feelings of this guilt that they've been pushed upon them by these educators, if you will, the professors. And then the students are trying to get rid of this. So the mechanism they have to what we call expiate these feelings that means to cast it out of them and put it onto something else, is they have historically cast these feelings upon the Jews. And the Jews have been like the typical, go-to for, 300 years or whatever.
All the sins of the world.
They just want to throw it on the Jews and blame them for everything. So that makes them feel good about their situation. And I think what we're going through is another cycle of this, expiating your feelings onto somebody else and then throwing it upon the Jews. Now, it's flawed logic, but it makes them feel good. But it's the plan and it's the method that's been put into force here. And this is a really dangerous thing, because, as I was telling Alex, I firmly believe that if Israel disappears, we've lost all of Europe. The Muslims have already invaded all this stuff. And I'm not trying to be, against one particular group, but my gosh, when it's happening before your eyes, if you're not paying attention to it, something's wrong with the thinking here. But, the Islam has had in its core beliefs and its core method of operation from the very beginning. Islam has spread. It's been the fastest growing agenda
I wonder why
the world has ever seen. And it hasn't happened through kindness and virtue. It's happened through warring and tyranny.
Yeah,
terror.
Larry, answer this question. You've got England and Europe that have invited him in it. I mean, they've come into Europe without.
Well, they used their empathy against them. And this is what happens a lot of times with Western thinkers, Christians, who carry this burden of all this guilt upon them that the professors have said that they all wear as a result of their being and who their ancestors were, so that they're all responsible. So they put this this guilt upon them. So they try to figure, okay, we're going to be so empathetic to these people, and we're going to show so much compassion to them that they can all come in, and we're going to let them all be our neighbors. But the thing is, they're expecting them to come in and be like them and be neighbors.
And assimilate,
these
but
people,
they're not.
they don't want to.
Okay.
What they want to do is come in and assume control and take things over and eliminate you, because it's in their their playbook, if you will.
Yeah, that's what the religion
you're an
says, that
infidel.
if you're not right.
You're an infidel, you need to be gone. I'm one step away from slicing your neck off. This is what is in their charter. And as Christians and as well-meaning people, we want to say, "Oh, that's just talk." Well,
Yeah, no, it's not.
no, it's not. It's actually in their playbook, and they're being very, very effective about it. And I'm not saying that everyone who might be a small-minded Muslim, not a big thinker, just somebody who's trying to get by, just a regular Joe. And Islam has really spread not in your most intelligent quarters or highly educated quarters. It's been across the uneducated for the most part. That's how Christianity started too. There weren't universities of higher learning and things like that. But even with Islam right now, you will find the more educated people in the Muslim quarters will go for the more disciplined forms of Islam. There's different sects or different levels, I guess, and where the disciplines are. So they know that not having this discipline and this order causes, more room for chaos and the slippery slope type of thing. And they're not looking for the types of arrangements with the government and the church. They want it to all be the same. So there is no arrangement, but it's one set of guided laws that
There's
are it.
pretty refined and well thought out clampdown.
Yeah, well, this is
You're talking about
these
stuff
clampdowns are
about
going on, and we're going to get into it a little bit more. So Alex has got this book, and show them the size of this book.
Well, a lot of research was done.
How many pages are in this thing?
Randy Engel, well over 1,000 pages.
I mean, that's a book.
It was called The Rite of Sodomy, Homosexuality in the Roman Catholic Church.
It's an easy read.
It's an easy read. A lot of names, and it's horrific because the Catholic Church is supposed to carry the deposit of faith and to bring forward Christ's teachings and purity and the answers that will come from the sacrifice of the Mass and Holy Eucharist, and what has happened to degrade and to destroy in a very sacrilegious way the import of what Christ's church was supposed to provide, which is enlightenment, protection, moral conduct,
an elevation of the
faith,
of the soul.
Right.
With that, to take yourself out of what we were talking about, the animal side of things.
Absolutely.
Into the
and this is what we've produced in the 2,025 years of what we should not be involved in, but we are at the very highest levels.
Now, this thing is called the Rite of Sodomy.
Yeah, RITE, and as though you're
okay. Well, even with that, it's like really like it's kind of
disgusting.
Yes, thank you. I mean, that's
It's
an
a
easy
vulgar.
word.
It's a
But
vulgar.
it's like how.
Yeah, well, Larry talked about the current events of what happened in Cincinnati, and nothing to see here. We got 2 cops. Keep your mouth shut. We're going to send them on sabbatical. Give you an update of how benign this involvement was with this priest, whoever it was. What are we, crazy?
It couldn't have been just nothing. There had to be
Oh,
something
it's
there
big.
to have.
It's what
you
really
know,
is behind it is
yeah.
real big. That's why you have two cops. If he was just, like I said, if he was just going around looking at dirty pictures and stuff and getting his jollies off, that's one thing. You kept it personal, a little creepy, but something else is going on here. You didn't have two cops in the Holy Eucharist to back you up with your lie.
Unless they're just so afraid of the temperature that's in the world right now with these things.
It could explode.
I mean, it could explain a lot of things, but, I think the way to deal with a bully is to confront them. And I'm not saying anyone's being a bully here, but you do not let a bully get by with their bad behavior.
People have no place in the Roman Catholic Church, and at the highest levels too, even at the papal level, have no place to be sitting in that seat. Even Padre Pio said that Paul VI, the Pope, Paul VI, had the slippers of satanic
So
force.
what did Paul VI have to do that was...
He was a practicing homosexual.
Oh, okay. Another one.
Well, and Father Luigi Villa was following him, and he was the one that was given permission by Pope Pius XII to follow the succession of popes.
Oh, to do the...
And this was a commission that Padre Pio said, go to the Pope Pius XII and tell him that, you're to follow the next succession of popes. Mm-hmm. Even Padre Pio knew what was going on, that there was a Masonic elements. They knew it. And Father Luigi Villa said when they wanted to elevate Pope Paul VI to being a saint, he said, there's no way you're going to kiss the bones of this man that was a practicing homosexual.
Jesus preached against it. Why didn't the church?
Yeah, really.
The gospel says
so. The filth that has taken hold of the Catholic Church got a person by the name of Randy Engel to do thousands of pages of research. This is where we're at, folks. You think this thing in Cincinnati is just a wayward priest that was looking at pornography? This goes much deeper. They're afraid if this thing really gets out, though, and it probably will. Our Lord's going to have to do something about it.
Well, I don't think this particular priest is alone in his preclusions. I mean, it's part, and if he's a younger priest, I mean, it's even more inherent in the way they were raised and the culture that's going on here. So we kind of did it to ourselves and allowed it to happen by having this. I mean, I think porn is still the most widely used part of the internet as far as the bandwidth.
Sure.
Transactional. I mean, it's crazy. At one time it had been 70%. It's a lot less now because you got so many other shopping things going on.
It's the application of searching out human sexuality in more of an entertainment in a pleasurable, hedonistic way. So human sexuality, really at its very best, well, St. Rita will tell you, I always wanted to have children. And the best sex in the world is when you see a child being born, or even your grandchild. You see the innocence and the beauty of it's a misapplied sexuality in a way that we absorb it and use it in a way that it never meant to be used.